Peace. It's the Indigenous one. And we're gonna make a video about the truth about Thanksgiving, okay? I got a couple of different articles, okay, so I'm gonna be reading. It's probably gonna be a long video, man, if my computer holds up and it allows me to record all this. So it's gonna probably be a long video, y'all. Probably gonna be all over the place on this one, so just bear with me on this. Alright, so as we know, I'm just gonna give you an overhead of what they say Thanksgiving is about. They say Pilgrim came to America in order to escape religious persecution in England. Its living conditions proved difficult in the New World, but thanks to the friendly Indian Squanto, the Pilgrims learned to grow corn and survive in unfamiliar lands. It wasn't long before the Indians and Pilgrims became good friends. To celebrate their friendship of abundant harvest, Indians in feathered headbands, they joined together with Pilgrims and shared in a friendly feast of turkey togetherness. Happy Thanksgiving, that means. Okay? So I want to read this right here too, because this is kind of funny right here. All right? So let me see. So from this account, the unexpected child, because this is a story for a child, the unexpected child might assume that a number of things. Firstly, they might assume that the Pilgrims merely settled in the New World innocently, and as a persecuted people, they arrived to America with pure altruistic intentions. Secondly, children might assume, and rightfully so, that the Indians and Pilgrims were friends, and that the friendship might have laid the firework for this great American nation. All right, so I'm gonna go in. All right, so let me say something. All right, so let me read. I'm gonna be just reading a little bit of this because I got a lot of information on this. I like to give you guys different sources and different stories so we can just connect the stories, because if I pull up an article, a lot of people looking at it like well, this is not a peer-reviewed studied article or whatever, but we're gonna compare and contrast the articles, okay? So I say, but the first lesson for educators and adults to digest, in fact, that the narrative is extrinsic, I guess that's how, whitewashed and Eurocentric on many levels. Moreover, it is a lie which serves to rob the American children of valuable historical lessons. All right, say truth be told, this beloved lie was packaged solely for nationalistic consumption when, following the bloody Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday in 1863. Back then, America was desperately in need of unity and inspiration. Excuse me. Say hence, the myth of the first Thanksgiving was born to inspire and unite. All right, so this is what it was born for. All right, so we're gonna go. So let's look at a different version of history. All right, saying hopefully extract some meaningful lessons from our shared past. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. All right, this is when it's gonna be. So on the day the Wapanaki of the East Coast and American noticed unfamiliar people in their homeland. Unfamiliar people were English Pilgrims coming to the new land, which they dubbed America, in order to settle and create new life. The Wapanaki were initially uneasy with the settlers, but eventually engaged in shaky relationships and commerce and exchange. All right, so remember, that's how they got here. And remember, this is just, you can take from this to learn about the rest of the stuff we've been going over, okay? Now, shaky relationships, commerce, and exchange. Remember, they was trading them for guns. Remember? Also, in observing that the Pilgrims nearly died from a harsh winter, the Wapanaki stepped in to help. The Wapanaki chief Massacres eventually entered an agreement with the Pilgrims on the behalf of the Wapanaki nation, decided to be allies while nations coexist in the same space together. At one time, the Wapanaki and Pilgrims shared a meal of wildfowl, deer, and shellfish. Okay, because they said they bought them lobsters and clams and all that. Because remember, They lived in Massachusetts. The Europeans ain't know nothing about no lobsters, and none. These people was eating lobsters, stuff like that, yo. And I'm gonna show you that in another article. All right, so let's keep on going. After the Massacres death, the Wampanoag Nation became weakened as a result of disease contracted from the English. It wasn't long before the Pilgrims began tormenting surrounding tribes, burning entire villages to the ground, while indigenous men and women and children was lying sleeping. So they said that they look. Hold up. Let's just go back and look at something. Let's go back and say, all right. So let's read this again right here, right? The Wampanoag initially uneasy with settlers, but they eventually engaged in shaky relationship, commerce, and exchange. Also in observing that the Pilgrims nearly died from a harsh winter. Okay, and who helped them? The Wampanoag stepped in to help them. All right, so boom. So we was right here. We just read they burnt entire villages to the ground while indigenous men, women, and children were sleeping. It say uneasy with the growing cruel greed and whatever. I can't pronounce that word. It say I know what it means though, but I just like sometimes when I be reading a lot, I get stuck. So it say of the new people in their homeland, the Wampanoag began to distrust the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims soon demanded that the Wampanoag submit to them and give up their weapons. Okay, now these are the people who came from a whole nother land. They was helped by these people. Now they come in here trying to take over them. Okay, all right. Shortly after the Pilgrims and Wampanoag were at war. At the end, the Pilgrims rose victoriously. Okay, so at the close of the war, the Wampanoag were nearly decimated, and the son of the chief Massacres, Metacom, was killed by the Pilgrims, dismembered, beheaded, and his they jumping the gun on that because remember that happened. Remember Thanksgiving supposed to happen in 1621. We had the PEQUOT tribe that was in 1637. Then the war, King Philip War happened, I believe, in 1670, something like that. All right, so that's that story right there. But hold up, you know what I'm saying? Let me just read a little bit more. So let me just find something else. All right, so all right, boom. All right, now let me read that. Let me touch back on that right there. All right. Alright, so they say the chief Massacres, Metacom, was killed by the Pilgrims, dismembered and beheaded. Okay, that sounds like anything. Who else did they do that to? Didn't they do that to Nat Turner? Didn't they dismember him according to what we was told? But I'm not saying this ain't got nothing to do with it because that happened in VA. This is Massachusetts, but just keep that in mind. Dismembered, beheaded, and his head impaled. Remember, they impaled the heads of the Moors too, man. Like, and listen, I'm not trying to cross Moorish history with this, but I'm gonna have to because I want to show you some other things. All right, so remember, Vlad the Impaler went against the Moors. This is what they're not telling you. They're not telling you that the Moors are the people who went in there and killed Vlad the Impaler. Okay? So it said his head was impaled on a spear outside of Plymouth. Metacom's young son was sent to West Indies as a slave, along with numerous other Wampanoag and surrounding tribes. So, now look, man, let me tell y'all something. Alright? Eventually, I mean, in the beginning, I wasn't trying to learn none of this stuff, man. I wasn't trying to sit here and read and make videos about reading none of this stuff, though. But I think this serves us a better purpose because then we could go back and the stuff we already know, we already can connect the dots to everything that's going. They're not gonna give you a straight story with the straight truth, so you gotta break stories down and acquire the knowledge and be able to. You ain't gotta spit it out verbatim, but you gotta be able to summarize this information. All right. So say a day of Thanksgiving. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me get back. I'm sorry. I forgot something. That's why I like to talk sometimes when I'm doing this. All right. So it say beheaded, and his head was impaled on a spear outside of Plymouth. Metacom young son. Okay, Metacom young son was sent to the West Indies as a slave. Now, we didn't know so-called Indians was being sent to the West Indies. I touched on that about 5 videos now. All right, so it say along with numerous other Wapanaki and surrounding tribes. All right, and surrounding tribes. All right, so they sent other people out there too. Okay, how many surrounding tribes was they really? They told you the numbers of North America was anywhere between 10 to 50 million people. Okay, so let's stop the foolishness and understand this. The 50 million people did not live out there in the desert where the so-called Mongoloids lived at. Okay, the 50 million people lived around the coastal regions where the water and lakes. Why you think these lakes and shit they always named at the so-called Aborigines? All these lakes named after Aborigines because they was living by the lakes and they lived by the coastal region so they can survive. Okay, and that was for the ones that live like up north. But even down south, you can live inland and then just go out there fish, then come back inland. Then you got your crops and everything growing. But in Massachusetts, they had to survive off of different things because they got cold. All right, so it said a day of Thanksgiving was declared. And in celebration, the pilgrims kicked the head of the dead indigenous people around like a soccer ball. This was not the end, okay? It said the indigenous nations throughout America was continuously betrayed by the European settlers, killed disease, germ, warfare, hunted for boundaries. For bounties, okay, hunted for bounties. It say sent overseas as slaves, man. They telling you right here. Okay, let's hold up. Let's touch back on this again. See, because I could learn more and just add more onto my Aborigine history by just reading this stuff. All right, we're gonna go back over it. As indigenous nations, I'm sorry for smacking too. My man left a comment and said, yo, could you stop smacking so much, man? I don't know why I do that. But when I be reading this, sometimes I'll be trying to like get some, let me go get some water, matter of fact, while I'm talking. Hold on for a minute, people. Okay, I'm back. Now check this out. This is the reason why none of these Kemetic scholars can mess with the Attentionist one. This is why none of them can mess with the Attentionist one, because the Attentionist one could prove that indigenous people from here were shipped throughout the world. And we got the pictures of the people that they found in Europe. So the gig is up. The gig is up. Okay, now we got evidence of them telling you that they sent you to Europe, along with pictures of them calling you blackamoors. Let's deal with this. An indigenous nation throughout America was continuously betrayed by European settlers, killed by disease, germ, warfare, hunted for boundaries, hunted for bounties. Hunted for bounties. What is hunted for bounties? Stop searching, stop and frisk, checking you, always pulling you over, always trying to check your paperwork and just trying to find record check you to see if you got a record or something. Sent overseas as slaves, okay? Now, like I said, you niggas can't fuck with me, and I got a curse on this one, alright? Because none of you so-called Kemetic scholars can tell me they sent these people overseas. This is your transatlantic slave trade, okay? It did not start with Africa. I showed you that they said that they did not need Africans to come here because they used the people of the land. Along with the war, they captured slaves, man. Alright? So sent overseas as slaves. Ultimately pushed out their homeland and onto prison camps, now commonly known as reservations, but the prison camps was plantations. Never mind the reservations, they was plantations. Few survived depressing conditions. As a result of centuries of historical trauma, indigenous nations today have a staggering rate of depression, mental health disparities, suicide, and death due to alcohol and drugs. Indigenous people continue to struggle and cope with historical trauma and heal embedded wounds which stem directly from colonialism. Now, this is not the autochthonous one telling you this. This is stuff that's on, this is an article that somebody published, man. Okay? So, they telling you right there what the problem is. Okay? Let's read that one more time. Okay? It says, as a result. Now, this is for people who come here and say, oh, well, why black people still doing bad today? Why black people still doing this? And also, this is for you racist people who come on my page who, you people came here, and this is the people you came here with. Okay? And this is your history of what you believe in. You have people argue now about Thanksgiving. Okay? You have people argue you down about this, man. They say, as a result of centuries of historical trauma, indigenous nations today have staggering rates of depression, mental health and disparities, suicide, and death due to alcohol and drugs. Okay? And keep that in mind. Who you know got problems like that? Who do you know got problems like that? Who? Indigenous people continue to struggle and cope with historical trauma and heal deeply embedded wounds which stems directly from colonialism. This still is not the end. That's why I'm going to keep on reading, because I like this one right here. This is a good article. The lessons to be gained from the truth of history are many. Conversely, those, no, it say, I'm sorry, let me go back, because I was doing a good job of reading so far. It say, and conversely, those lessons are lost in whitewashed myths. While glossing over the very real consequence of colonialism, the historical version of Thanksgiving creates a fairy tale of land, theft, betrayal, brutality, genocide, virtual function to ease the very real traumatic experience in entire indigenous nation. This phenomena, is say a whitewashing, the outright erasure of indigenous history in many instances is not only inhumane, it's say, and oppressive to the indigenous people, but it's also unfair to all Americans who stand to learn from the rich and equal tragedy of history. See, they don't want to learn this, because this is right here. This is the reason why you got Europeans, when you tell them this, they say, I ain't got nothing to do with slavery. Your ancestors did, so you do. You wouldn't be on this land if it wasn't for them. So who don't have nothing to do with this? Okay. Remember that. And it's for you people who come here, because I know some Europeans want to check this out. Okay? They say, look, you don't have nothing to do with slavery. You ain't got nothing to do with what happened over here. Remember, the people, these pilgrims was freeloaders. They came here to take the land. The land didn't belong to them. Without a question, colonialism is a great colonizer and whatever, man. It's say for the colonizer. I mean, for the colonized. I'm sorry. I'll just think about what I said. The colonization reduced entire populations and leave a generational wound that lingers stubbornly for centuries. This is a lesson that all Americans must heed. As a result of propaganda and historical versions of Thanksgiving, American children and adults alike become confused about history, and moreover, the Thanksgiving lie outright prevents a collective American understanding the temporary struggles of Native American people today, or Aboriginal people today, without understanding 500 years of a colonial impact of indigenous people. Now check this out. Now, just imagine if the lie came along that these people was Africans. Just imagine how much worse that make the whole lie of everything. It's just not they lied about the history. The people who this happened to, they telling you that you didn't come here on a slave ship, and they mixing you up with all these different people, so you'll never find and never ask the question, who was the real indigenous people? I don't want to hear it was a melting pot. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You could show me them pictures from the 1800s when they found people out in the desert, or after the Indian territories was put together. But I got the images of the Virginia Historical Society of the Indian tobacco figure that they found. Okay? So we can sit here and play games. We can sit here and say, well, that might not be Powhatan. Well, why do they got in Virginia? Let's say it's not Powhatan, but that's a tobacco image of the people that they found here, and they don't look nothing like Native Americans. Okay, I must continue to say this over and over and over again. Okay, because these people got nappy hair, man, and like I said, man, I digress, man. To be true, the Thanksgiving myth has many consequences, and aside from breeding ignorance, reinforcing bigotry, whatever, you know what I mean. They say the myth silences already marginalized indigenous people who desperately need to hear, share, and tell our story as part of the healing process. They say it is time to let go the myth and embrace the truth. And we must start in school. They say while young children look at their teachers with inquisitive eyes as the all-knowing authorities, the educational institution school must progressive and bravely move towards truth while moving away from the semblance of ongoing myths and sanctions. And say this change a long overdue, and all of the children deserve truth, meaningful lessons, and a robust dose of humanitarian. It's a develop and a great news of our own. All right, so I'm gonna go on to the next one. All right, that give you an understanding of what we talking about. All right, so look, man, let me see something. All right, so I'm going to show you something right here, what I found, okay? Now, this somehow connects the Turk to the Turks. Now, I'm going to just give you a story of what I heard, all right? Now, I heard that after 1491, the people of Europe called it a Thanksgiving because the Moors that was in the last, I think it was Granada or whatever, or I can't think of the name right now, but nonetheless, I think it was Gibraltar. I think Gibraltar was the last stand right there. But nonetheless, though, they said that the Moors just retreated. They didn't even fight them, and they said the people called it a Thanksgiving because the Moors had many bloody wars with the Europeans or whatever, right? So look, they said that after the Moors retreated, they call it a day for Thanksgiving. All right. Now they also said this. They also said that the way they got the Turk from, that they used to hunt the Turks down and carve up the Turks, man. So they used to hunt you down and carve and cut you up. And these people was cannibals too. So they said that, you know, we hear other stories, but this is a story telling you just to connect what they said about the bird. All right, they say English settlers in both Virginia and Massachusetts, spoiled with familiar these less tasty big birds, and we talking about the turkey that came from Turkey, immediately demanded to bring their own turkeys to America. English turkeys derived from turkeys arrived in Jamestown in 1614 and in Massachusetts prior to 1629. Okay, and so as European settlement spread, so did their herd of domestic turkeys, the wild cousin of the whatever bird that is. They say, I assume, because remember this too, people. Remember this. All right. If you study Leviticus, right? What do Leviticus tell you about what fowl you can't eat? Buzzards. Buzzards is one of them fowls that's with the crows, ravens, hawks, all of them other birds you're not supposed to be eating. Now, don't get it messed up. I mean, I've been eating turkey, but this is just something that I figured out lately. Because a turkey is a buzzard. A buzzard is a vulture, or derived from the vulture family. All right, so it say the wild cousin such and such that inhabited most of North America retreated to the most congenial frontiers, as did their native names. Okay, they say domestic turkeys from Turkey displays another very interesting habit. When turkeys emerge at the first cash crop of the southern colonies. Okay, I'm saying when tobacco emerged as the first cash crop of the southern colonies. All right, so remember, it was not cotton till later on. It was tobacco first. It was found in these mild-mannered turkeys from Turkey were not with no threat. It say whoever sold, no, it say whatever sold to tobacco plants. It say the busy forager for barnyard grains and kitchen food scraps considered the hornworms that infested and destroyed tobacco plants a very tasty delight. They could be turned loose into the tobacco field. One turkey could clean hornworms from 1,000 tobacco plants. 50 could handle 100,000 plants, and one could only wonder whether turkey farmers, as they groomed these birds to grow large breasts, also managed somehow to extinguish their taste for Turkish tobacco. Okay, now that's just something, that's just another keynote I just wanted to put in there. All right, now I'm gonna read something else right here. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit of this. I'm gonna compare and contrast. This is an article I just found. This is actually an Indigenous article. I'm gonna start with here and I'm gonna go a little further now. All right, so let me see something. Show y'all the article. Right. So, and just remember, look, I just wanted to show y'all something too. These are the Indians that they showing you, okay? Okay? Now, yo, man, like I said, man, I get upset when I see this right here, man. But we're going to keep it moving, all right? These are the Indians they show you. He's a white man. I don't know which, Hispanic. Maybe another Hispanic, white man, another white man, and they go a mixed brother, all right? So, I just want to go down. I already touched a little on Squanto, but I want to read a little bit from this article right here. It say, do Indians celebrate Thanksgiving? All right, so I'm gonna start right here. Let me open the file up a little bit. All right, so here we go. So boom. I wanted to read a little bit of Squanto. Hold on for a minute. So I wanted to read this about Squanto to let you know that they was already taking people over there. The slave trade started from here. This is what gave them the idea to bring people here, because they was already moving people from out of here. Okay, so let's begin with Squanto, aka Tisquantum. That's a deep name. It say I can't pronounce that word. It say one or more than 50 tribes who formed the Wapanaki Confederacy. Okay. It say around 1614, when he was perhaps 30, Squanto was kidnapped. Okay, they say he was kidnapped. Now, check this out. And this is what, see, and now this will give you an idea what else they was doing. Okay, this will give you an idea what else they was doing. Check this out. All right, so they say Squanto was kidnapped along with others of his people and taken across the Atlantic Ocean to Malaga, Spain, where they were sold into slavery. I thought the Africans was brought here first, man. Like, really, man, you people, like, yo, listen, man. And this is what people got to start understanding, man. Don't come at me with this old elementary slavery story, man. Don't show me no Amistad videos. Don't show me none of that, man. Don't show me none of that. If you can explain that they was taking people from here to different parts of the land, okay, around the world, you guys don't know that. And most of these scholars don't know that. You know what I'm about to start doing? I'm about to start doing hangouts, and we're gonna have debates on these hangouts. But the debates gotta be cordial. We ain't gonna be doing no yelling. I'm gonna be just hanging up. I'm gonna be booting people out. We're not gonna be doing. We just gonna keep this cordial. Bring your information. I'm gonna bring mine. You can prove to me it was Africans. I'm gonna prove to you that it was millions of us here. Okay, let me get back into it. All right. So where was I at? All right. So boom. All right. It say. Let me read it again. It said around 1614. When he was perhaps 30, Squanto was kidnapped along with others of his people and taken across the Atlantic Ocean to Malta, Spain, where they were sold into slavery. Monks in Spain bought Squanto, it says, shared their faith with him and made it possible for him to find his way to England in 1615. It's saying England, he worked for slave builders John Slaney. It's saying became proficient in England. It's say in 1619. Look, man. look. Check this out. And this is, let me see. And this is a story from Indians, man. Check this out. Check this out, man. Let's deal with this, man. Let's deal with this, man. Let's deal with this, man. All right. Well, check this out. Hold on for a second, people. Alright, y'all. Now look. Check this out. You see this? You see this right here? I ain't even gonna click onto it because I got too much stuff up already. Y'all already know the story. You say the origins of slavery in America. In 1619, the Dutch introduced the first captured Africans to America, planting the seed of slavery system that evolved. Now look, your boy right here already destroyed that myth. I already destroyed that, bro, because they showed you at certain points they did not need the slaves from here. Now let's get back into this. In England, he worked for a shipbuilder, John Slaney, whatever they say, and became proficient in English. So he learned English in 1619. Okay, how ironic is that? In 1619, the first Africans was brought here, but so was Squanto brought back over here. Okay, so do you people want to reevaluate the way you look at this stuff or not? Okay, in 1619, Squanto returned to his homeland and rejoining the explorer expedition along the New England coast. When he arrived at the village where he had been raised, all his family and the rest of his tribe had been exterminated. It's by a devastating plague. Okay, devastating plague. It's what about the Pilgrims, separatists who fled from England to Holland, seeking to escape religious persecution by English authorities, and who later booked passage to North America? It are now called Pilgrims, though America did not widely use the term until 1870. In November 1620, the Mayflower dropped anchor in present-day Provincetown Harbor. Say after exploring the coast for a few weeks, the Pilgrims landed and began building a permanent See, all right. So look, you Europeans that's on my page, right? You know you're not American because you know you're not indigenous to here, so you're not an American. Okay, so this is the reason it's saying built a permanent. This is the reason why Europeans are telling you to go back, because they can't go back to Europe. They're not going back to Europe. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why they tell you to go back to Africa, because they can't go back to Europe. Okay, they can't go back to Europe. So check this out. Let me get back where I was at. All right. So the Mayflower dropped the anchor in present-day Provincetown Harbor. Say after exploring the coast for a few weeks, the Pilgrims landed and began building a permanent. No, not a permanent. Oh, they wasn't going to stay here for a week or so. They a permanent. No, they wasn't going to stay for a month. A permanent. No, they weren't going to stay for a year. A permanent. Okay, a permanent settlement on the ruins of Squanto village. So they used the village in which they probably passed. Which they passed the plague on to Squanto people, and then took the land for themselves. It say now renamed the New Plymouth. It say within the first year, half of 102 pilgrims who set out from Europe on the Mayflower had perished. It say in desperation, the pilgrims initially survived by eating corn from abandoned fields, raiding villages for stored food and seeds, and robbing graves at Corn Hill. So they was robbing graves, man. You understand? You hear what these people was doing? Okay. Squanto was introduced to the Pilgrims in the spring of 1621, became friends with them, and taught them how to hunt and fish in order to survive in New England. See, look, so look, the indigenous people help these people, and we're going to get into that later. We're going to get into another thing, because I got the Treaty of Hartford, so we're going to get into some other things. Okay, all right. So boom. So they say the Pilgrims didn't. Oh no, hold up. All right. So hold up. Let me see something. Where was I? I'm sorry about that, y'all. All right. How to survive. So all right, it's right here. So it say he taught the Pilgrims how to plant corn by using fish as a fertilizer. It's saying how to plant groans, I don't know what that is, around the corn so that the vines could, no, I'm sorry. It say, all right, so grown, so I believe that's the sticks. So that, I mean, like sticks, like if you look at how indigenous people planted, they had sticks that was holding the plants up. All right, so look, so I don't know, it say grow, all right, right here, this word right here. It say grow around the corn so that the vines could climb the stalk. Due to his knowledge of English, the Pilgrims made Squanto an interpreter and emissary between the English and the Wapanaki Confederate. Now, I thought that all of the tribes was gone when they came back. Now, I mean, his tribe was gone, but obviously he had to be part of the Wapanaki. All right? So it say, what really happened at the first Thanksgiving? I'm going to get into, like I said, another story, all right? It say in 1621, the Pilgrims did not introduce the concept of Thanksgiving. The New England tribes, or the New England Europeans, already had autumn harvest feast of Thanksgiving, all right? Now, when I told you the story about the Moors, I'm not saying it's 100, but just do the research on it, okay? It say, to the original people of this continent, each day is a day of Thanksgiving to the Creator. Okay, so to the Aborigine people, each day is a Thanksgiving for the Creator. Okay, it say in the fall of 1621, Wilford Bradford, the governor of the Plymouth County. So check this out. So they had individual governors over their counties. Okay, which these governors. So first the colonies had governors. Now you have a governor over your county. Okay, it say decided to have a Plymouth Harvest Fest on Thanksgiving and invited the Maswa. They say the Grand Sachem of the Wapanaki Federation to join the Pilgrims. Maswa, they say, came with approximately 90 warriors who bought food to add to the feast, including venison. You know what venison is? Lobster, fish, wildfowl, clams, oysters, eel, and clams, squash, and maple syrup. Okay, so it say the Maswa and 90 warriors stayed in Plymouth for 3 days. These original Thanksgiving foods are far from the different meals prepared in modern Thanksgiving celebration. Now check this out, y'all. Moderate Thanksgiving celebration includes what? Okay, it includes most of the Aborigine food. Okay, most of the Aborigine food outside of that turkey, but most of the food, the cranberries, squash, pumpkins, yams, sweet potatoes, all that is indigenous food. Collard greens, cabbage, all of that is indigenous food. Okay, so all right, we're gonna go. Squanto died in 1622, but the Massachusetts outlived the era of the related people in the colony. They say New England on May 26, 1637. Now it jumps from 1622 to 1637. All right. So this is the reason why I'm gonna pull up what I got, the Treaty of Hartford. All right, so it's in May 26, 1637, near the present-day Mystic River in Connecticut, while the warriors were away, an estimated 400 to 700 Pequot women, okay, Pequot women, children, and old men was massacred. They say, and burnt by combined forces of the Plymouth, Massachusetts Bay, and the Saybrook, Connecticut colonies of the Narragansett and the I'm sorry. Let me just kind of go. And the Mohegan Allies. So boom. Let's read. Let's go over that again. All right. So look, Squanto died in 1622. They say, but the Massachusetts outlived the era of relative peace in the colony in New England. They say on May 26. 1637, near the present day of Mystic River in Connecticut, while the warriors were away, the estimated 400 to 700 Pequot women and children and old men was massacred and burnt by a combination of forces of Plymouth. Okay, so combination of forces. Now look, let's deal with this. Massachusetts Bay. Massachusetts was a tribe. If you look up the word, if you look up these tribes in that region, you'll see that the Massachusetts was a tribe as well. So Massachusetts Bay and Saybrook, Connecticut, colonies of the Nassau, I can't. Sometimes I can pronounce, sometimes I can't. And the Mohegan Allies. So it's telling you that these are tribes that allied with them to burn down the Pequot tribe. So that go to show you that these tribes was warring with one another. Okay, it shows you that. Now look, man, like I tell people, man, because a lot of people mad at the Moors. All right, but before you should be mad at the Moors, you should be mad at these other tribes. All right, because it's telling you that these tribes are the ones that was doing this to one another. They was allying with these people because they was trading guns, man. And they was getting the guns from them, and they would turn the guns on the other people who didn't have guns, because they would use the guns as a way to defeat the tribes who didn't have guns. And then the tribes who didn't have guns eventually started siding with the Europeans so they can get guns, so they can fight the other tribes. All right. And then at the end, the European crossed both of them and enslaved both of them. All right. Well, I'm not going to say enslaved both of them, because some of them tribes, like I said, they allowed to live alongside them as long as they adapted their ways and their Christian ways and everything. All right. So, all right. So see, colonial authorities found justification to kill most of the Pequot men and enslave the captured women and their children. Pequot slaves were sent to Bermuda and the West Indies. Okay, now check this out. Okay, told you at 1619 they bought old boy Squanto was brought back here. Okay, tell you in 1619 Squanto came back. All right, now it's telling you right here once again. I know I have went over this a couple of different times. I know. But this, how do you break the programming? Through repetition. You have to understand. 1637, Pequot slaves were sent to Bermuda and the West Indies. The other one tell you that they were sent around the world, man. It say in 1975, the official number of Pequot people living in Connecticut was 21. All right, there was only 21 because there was other people who was from Connecticut who didn't know who they was. All right, it say similar decline in native population. Now this is a lot right here too. All right, just for y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know this a lot right here. Okay, this is by the amalgamated so-called tribes is the one telling you this. So it says similar decline in native population took place throughout New England, as an estimated 300,000 Indians died by violence and even more was displaced. Now hold up. It said all right, let me read that one more again. It says similar declines in native population took place throughout New England, as an estimated 300,000 died by violence and even more. So they telling you 300,000 died by violence and saying even more was displaced. So when they say even more, the numbers probably double the 300,000. Okay, so you do the math. It say in New England over the next few decades. So they was moving these people out and they was enslaving them. While you people talking about, oh, Africans were slaves, you are these people who they was enslaving. That's how confusing this stuff is, man. All right, I'm going to read this one and we're going to move on. Say, looking at the history raises questions. Why should Native people celebrate Thanksgiving? Why should Aborigines celebrate Thanksgiving? They say many Aborigines participate in New England era, remembering the attempted genocide as a factual part of their history, and are reminded each year during the modern Thanksgiving. The United American Indian of New England meet each year at Plymouth Rock on Coles Hill for a day of mourning. They gather at the feet of the statue of Grand Sitchin Massacres of the Wapanaki to remember and reflect and hope that America will never forget. But they got you thinking about 9/11 and shit. I mean, no disrespect to the people who was affected by that, but it's saying right here, it told you how many people. Let's see how many people was affected by this, okay? But they don't want you to remember this. They want you to celebrate it along with the people who did it. Similar declines in Native American population took place throughout New England, and an estimated 300,000 Indians died by violence. Even more was displaced in New England over the next few decades. All right, so boom, that's it. Okay, now look, it's the Treaty of Hartford. This is the one after this one. You guys, you look this up. I wanted to touch back. I wanted to show you guys this something that I got. You guys can run over this. I gotta keep it moving. We already touched on the slaves. I want to show you this right here when they talk about King Philip War, because all this is connected. All right. So it said overview of King Philip War. It said King Philip War 1675-1676 marked the last majority effort by the Native Americans of southern New England to drive out the English settlers. It said with tension spilling over following the collapse. Now this is after the so-called after this treaty. They broke this treaty. It say of trade partners and aggressive expansions of colonist territory. So aggressive expansion. So they was using aggressive to take over the land and colonist territory. The Pequot, it's a Chief Medicon, aka King Philip, led a bloody uprising of Wapanaki, Nipmuc, Pocumtuck, and Nagat and whatever tribes. Now remember, these were the tribes that initially crossed the Pequot. the Narragansett tribes, and some of the Wapanaki. It say the fighting lasted 14 months and destroyed 12 frontier towns. Ended shortly after Metacon. We know he was captured. All right. So this is basically just telling you like what it was for. It said of trade partner and aggressive expansion of colonist territory. All right. So we dealt with this. We dealt with what tribes was. Now look, let's look up what tribes was dealing with. Hold up. Let me see something. All right. So we, matter of fact, you know what? We don't even need to go to it. Let's look at these tribes, man. Let's look at the tribes, man. All right. Let's deal with this, man. And I already done dealt with some of this stuff already, but I'm just gonna show you guys something. Okay, because people don't believe stuff unless they see it, man. You know, people is, I don't know, man. Some people is not, I don't know. I don't get it. Hold on for 1 second, people. Watch slowly. Alright, bet. So here we go. So let's look up. So this is the MASHPEE Wapanaki. Alright, we're going to look it up again just in case you guys don't believe that. Now we touched on this tribe already. We already touched on this guy, Cedric, what's the name? Cedric, excuse me, Cedric Cromwell. As you see, look at his children. Now ask yourself these questions. What part of Cedric Cromwell is Negro? We know he got European in him. But look at his daughter. Okay? His daughter is a Negro that's light-skinned. She look like she's a biracial child. You see his daughter right here? She's a biracial child. Now he don't look biracial, but he looked like at some point in time he had European like most of us. Alright, so now look. Let's look at some of the Wapanaki people, alright? Because there's truth in all this shit. Now look. Look at this sister, look at the brother next to him, and look at the little guy right here, okay? How do these people get into these tribes? Now, like I said, there's two questions you can ask yourself is this. Either these are people of slaves, but the Pequot was slaves, so it wouldn't make no sense to bring Africans in. And I touched on that yesterday in my other video, that from the 1600s to almost the 1800s, they had slaves in New England too. Where did these people go? And what was these people classified after they lost their tribal heritage? We already know what they was classified as, colored people, okay? So now, we're going to deal with this, all right? This is, I think that's his daughter right here. This is Cedric's daughter, whatever. I believe that's her or whatever. But look at these people. Now, you don't start seeing these, only reason you start seeing a lot of these Mongoloids, because these Mongoloids are fronting. They are getting into a lot of these Northeast and Southeast tribes, claiming that they were the people who was there, right? Now, check this out. It's another Wapanaki family right here. Now, we look at this guy right here, right? Oh, this is what a real Indian looked like. No, that's not what a real Indian look like. That's a black man mixed with European, okay? And his hair is European mixed with non-ether hair. This is not a real fucking Indian, okay? This is just a mix. This will be so-called mulatto. Look at the sister. How did she get into these tribes? Okay, now these are the tribes they telling you that was here when so-called Thanksgiving was here. Where are the Mongoloids? And they telling you that they took these people out as slaves. You want me to believe that these are descendants of African slaves? Okay, use your brain, people, because they lying to y'all, man. And people are so stupid, man, because if they telling you that they sent Pequots to Bermuda, to around the world, how do so you want me to believe that these are descendants of Africans, or are these the descendants of the real Pequots that was there, or the Wapanaki? Okay? Okay? Now, I mean, yo, man, you got to do the science on it. A lot of people don't want to hear this or whatever, but you got to hear it. You got to understand it. You have to understand this, man. Look, let's take a look at his tribe. Look at these people in the tribe, okay? This could be a mixed lady. We know his daughter's mixed right here. Well, I guess this is his wife. This might be his wife right here, okay? Look, see these people? These people got Negroes in them, and they mix with Europeans. So where's the Indian? The European is not the Indian. So where did they get their Indian side? That proves you it was Negroes here. And they telling you that they were shipping these people around the world. Okay? Here we go again. Now, see this guy right here? This is what a lot of people equate to be an Indian. But this is a freaking European mixed with an Aborigine, man. This is not no Indian. The real Indians was copper colored. So why wouldn't you see these? And then I show you pictures and images of people all up and down New York with afros. These people did not have no straight hair like this. Now, some of us might have this type of braided hair, but listen, it's almost 80, 70 million so-called African Americans here. And I'm going to tell you that the majority of us don't have this so-called, we have the real Indian hair when you apply moisture to it, when you apply because most of our hair is dry. So, and you see that even with so-called Africans that come here, their hair be dry as hell. But when they come here, my friend, he's an African, he got waves in his hair, okay? But that go to show you the texture of hair that we got. And it's even older people that you see, older black people in the South that you see let their hair grow and they tie their hair behind in a little tail or whatever. Now you see that now if they cut their hair down, their hair will be probably nappy if they leave it unattended for a period of time. Okay, because they constantly put oil in it so it makes their hair soft. So now look, where's the noticeable Indian out of these people right here? Okay? Where's the noticeable Indian? You tell me. You tell me, okay, where's the noticeable Indian at? And why do they look like they got Negro? Oh, because the Negro was a slave and they mixed with, no, the Europeans is the ones who mixed in the colonies with them, okay? So this is the Wapanaki. We already went over the Wapanaki. We already see, and I'm not just touching, I'm going to go on the power. Let's look at the powwow. No, I already touched on a lot of stuff already. Now look at these people right here. Now look, what we did not understand. Now look at the people behind him. Now this is the MASHPEE Wapanaki, okay? Look at the people behind him, okay? And look at these people, okay? Now look at them. Look at them. Okay? Now who was the real Indian? Okay? Now check this out. Now I'm gonna show you something else. We're gonna deal with this, man. Let's take a look at these people right here, man. Hold up. Go there. Alright, boom. Now look at these people. This is a cracker right here. This is a black dude who got European features. This is another black dude who got European in him. Another black dude, light-skinned brother. Another brown-skinned brother right here, okay? Now, which one of these is a real Indian? Okay? Because I don't want to hear, oh, it was so many different cultures here and they all looked at differently. No, I don't want to hear that. Because where did this guy right here came from if it wasn't no Europeans here? And that's why I touched on it, okay? Now, look. See this? Another Aborigine. How many people in your family got people who look like this? This is a cracker right here. So we ain't going to even deal with her. But how many people got people, grandmothers and stuff that look like this? Now look at this guy right here. How did he get into the Wapan? Well, this is South Dakota. See, this is South Dakota. You see? All right. So let me go back to what I was at because I'm not trying to confuse nobody. I want to stay on the Wapan now. All right. So as you see, I didn't just touch on the so-called black-looking people. I try to show you other people so you can get an understanding. Look at this sister right here. Look. So where did she come from? Clara Jackson. Clara Jackson, okay? This is her name, Clara Jackson. Okay? She's a MASHPEE. How did she get into the MASHPEE and why do I see these Negroes in there? Because the rest of us are classified as Negro, as African American. If we was to really claim who we really was, then you wouldn't see half of these white people in here. Okay? Well, look. Touched on these. We already seen these kids. These kids look like mixes. Okay? Now, you could tell she got a Negro nose right here. Okay? And you could tell. But all these Europeans you see that's in these tribes are part of the colonists that came here. They are not indigenous to this land. So that's the MASHPEE. That's the Wapanaki, okay? Now look, this brother right here. Look, how many people in your family got people who look like him? Okay? You see they got the POW, they mean prisoner of war, because they telling you that they prisoners of war. Alright? Let me see. Some more images, alright? Alright, here goes some more images. Alright, so now look, let's go to, let me see something. Let's go to the PEQUOT. We're gonna go to the PEQUOT tribe. All right. Now look, this is it say about the Eastern PEQUOT tribe nation. Now I touched on this picture before right here, right? Now they telling you that these are PEQUOT tribes. All right. Now let's do the process of elimination. All right. So we know there was no European here, so we know she's not indigenous. So let's X her out of here. Okay. With the exception of her going out this picture. What would the rest of these people in this picture be classified as right now? Huh? Oh, but what is the story how these people got into the tribes is what I want to know. Because if they tell you, they cannot tell you. The only story they're going to tell you is these was Africans that was brought here and they mixed into the tribes. At the same time, they telling you that they didn't even bring that many Africans to Massachusetts. Okay? And on this, look at this. So what you ask these people about their family, and you ask them like, yo, give me some family traditions or what happened or whatever, where your family from or whatever. They're gonna tell you that they're indigenous, that my grandmother told me was an Indian. And I bet you they probably had one of them grandmothers that looked like the mulatto, that they thought that was the Indian, not knowing that mulatto came from a sister who looked like this and brothers and sisters who looked like this. Alright? So let's keep it moving, man. So look. It's another prop. This is another picture. What do it say? Okay, I'm not saying it's the PEQUOT. They saying it's the PEQUOT. Now look at these people. Let's do the process of elimination again, people. We know this European does not belong in this tribe, so we're going to X her out of here. This is a black lady. This is a black brother, black sister, black brother, black sister, black man. Okay, we say the head, this man looks just like Michael Jackson's father. Okay, look. How did these people get into the tribe? All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Now remember, these are the people that they said that were sold into slavery. Now look at the PEQUOT tribal. Now look at the PEQUOT. Look right here. Look at his brother. Look at his sister. Now look who the leader is. The leader always this mongoloid looking or the mulatto looking person. They always give him the credit for being a chief because they're not telling you that he should be the real chief. Okay? Now look, let me show y'all something, man. Cause like I said, man, this is crazy, man. Let me see something. I'm gonna click right here just so you guys know. Alright, so I'm not gonna keep dancing around. I'm gonna give you just straight pictures. We're gonna look. Now look, it say Eastern PEQUOT tribal nations of Connecticut. Now what did the people look like that this happened to on Thanksgiving? It looked like you. Okay, now like I told you, this is how I proved that all of the Northeast and Southeast tribe was Negroes. Okay, Northeast, Massachusetts. Look at these brothers, and we're gonna X her out again. Boop, she gets out the tribe. Now look, when you ask them, most of them got Negro names like you. So if they are Indians, then how many more of us are Indians? Let's be for real. Okay, let's stop playing these games, man. All right, look, they got to put the European right here to show you she's not indigenous, my brother. We're not idiots, so we know she's not indigenous, all right? Look, man, the gig is up, y'all, all right? The gig is up, man. It's up, all right? So look, see this? Look. All right, with this brother right here can be a mix. He's a mix. He's a mix, Joker. But why all the other people look like they black, and how do these people get into these tribes, and why they not telling the rest of us that we are a part of these tribes? Now, this is the same Joker right here who was signing the paper right here. Now, look. This is the same Joker who was signing the paper. Why everybody else look melanated, but he's the only white guy? But oh, he's the leader of the tribe, though. Come on, man. And this is why this is the most like foolish stuff I've ever seen in my life, man. Look, PEQUOT. How this brother get into the tribe? Where he come from? Oh, he was a slave too, right? Okay. That's what I'm trying to say, man. We being lied to, we being deceived. And if you see people who look like you in these tribes, you need to start asking yourself why you not in none of these tribes, okay? All right? So I'm about to end this video, man. But like I said, man, these are, I'm not telling you these PEQUOT. They saying Eastern PEQUOT. Okay, the Thompson's one is not saying that. Now, when you look at these people right here, now look. Well, I don't know who them people is. I'm not even going to touch on them. But look. Look, you see this little Negro girl right here? You see this? See, they trying to say, oh, we're gonna bring all the tribes together. No, let's deal with the tribe that went through all the shit, and that was the Northeast, Southeast tribes. Okay, so look, man, I already proved to y'all in more ways than one. I showed you archaeology evidence, Naya, Luzia, the Broad woman. I showed you pyramids. I showed you data. Listen, man. Look, man. Please, when you mention other people who deal with this indigenous information or scholarly information, please do not leave out the Indigenous one. I've done real hard work just to bring a lot of the stuff to you people, man. Please do not X me out. Please make sure you know I do the research. You know I know this stuff verbatim. I can tell you directly of what I think exactly happened and who we are. I'm not. We done went around the Americas. We done went to Central, South America. I showed you the Chuchilla mummies that which got dreadlocks. I showed you the people of Brazil. I showed you the people of the Caribbean. Listen, bro, we done went all around here. Now it's time to focus on the people who've been classified as African Americans. Okay, all right. So with that being said, remember what the tribes look like, man. All right. So just like I said, man, just do the knowledge on it. All right. Now look, I'm gonna click on one more picture, right? PEQUOT. These are your people. If these people are in the tribes, why are they not telling the rest of us that we are indigenous to this land? And how did these people get into these tribes? Oh, they were slaves. Of course they were slaves, because the PEQUOT were slaves. So they can't even play that with us. Like I said, man, look, man, please mention my name when we talk about this indigenous scholarship, all right? With that being said, I'm the Thompson's one. Peace.